Guest, Dr. Anshu Sharma on the dais. Welcome, sir. The founder of Seeds, Chairperson in the Expert Committee NMK SCC, Professor Kalachand Sain. Welcome, sir. Ji. Professor Andre, Managing Director, ABCD Tech Center, Technical University of Dresden, Germany. Welcome. Vice Chair, Sikkim SDMA, Professor VK Sharma, sir. And Vice Chairman, UP SDMA, General Yogendra Dimri, sir. Welcome, sir, on the dais. To formally begin the valedictory session, I would like to invite Professor Anil Gupta, sir, to kindly welcome and escort our esteemed dignitaries. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, namaste. Welcome the dignitaries on the dais. As the first day we have been discussing that we have to go to the states. So sir, we have come to the states. And we are honored that states have come to the dais. And this is a real need if we really bring the transformation. We are really honored to have the gracious presence of the Honorable Vice Chairman of State Disaster Management Authority of Uttar Pradesh and the Vice Chairman of State Disaster Management Authority of Sikkim. We are also happy to have Professor Andre Lindner, Managing Director of ABCD Center. Once again, I will make it full. Aachen, Bangkok, Chennai and Dresden. We are eagerly waiting that when Noida will be added. Welcome on the board. We welcome Dr. Kalachand Sain, Chair of the Expert Committee of National Mission for Strategic Knowledge on Climate Change. We welcome Dr. Anshu Sharma, Sasakawa Awardee and also the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Awardee, co-founder of Seeds. Professor Vinod Sharma, sir, is also Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Awardee, and we always consider him as one of the key architect of disaster management in the country, the founder of an IDM as well. Of the dais, we have the representation from various institutions, including SDRF. They have put an exhibition. The initial 2 days, there was an exhibition by NDRF. So thanks to SDRF also. Sir, this Resilience and Sustainability Summit is an innovation, is a collective innovation which initiated from the recommendation of the third national platform on disaster risk reduction. 2 key recommendations were given by the NPDRR, which is chaired by Honorable Home Minister and inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister. One was that the Ministry of Science and Technology take initiative in bringing the integration and convergence between the 3 major disciplines, which are climate action, disaster risk reduction and sustainability. And the second recommendation in the same NPDRR session to the Ministry of Science and Technology was to bring greater emphasis on the interface between research, policy and practice. Considering both this center, ICARS, Integrated Center for Adaptation, Disaster Risk Resilience and Sustainability, which is the youngest center of excellence in the country, has been created and intelligently located here, which is close to the capital, but in the land of Uttar Pradesh. So we are honored to have you, sir, the Vice Chair of Uttar Pradesh. We are in your land, so we are at your service as well. It is located in a campus of an academic institute, which has a legacy of more than 178 years in being. and it is IIT Roorkee is considered as the premier institute contributing to various spheres of disaster management and climate related researches. It is one of the first institutions in the country on water related issues as well as on civil engineering related issues. IIT Roorkee is the only institution which has the departments like earthquake engineering, very unique globally. Also the Department of Water Resources, Hydrology, Center for Disaster Management, Humanities Management. Disaster management is a subject which cuts across the disciplines, including chemical engineering. Sir, the first session, summit, Resilience and Sustainability Summit took place in 2023 in Vigyan Bhavan. And collectively it was recommended that it should become a recurring process, and therefore we say that RESS Summit is not an event, it is a process. And this continuing, under this continuum, this RESS Summit 2026 has been conceived in a collaborative and collective effort. More than 45 partners have joined in designing and curating the Resilience and Sustainability Summit, RESS Summit 2026, spanning over 3 days, covering 4 major events. The first event was on Climate Knowledge Forum, where the Address Network portal has been launched, that is to integrate all the centers of excellence in the country on disaster management, as well as all center of excellence in the country on climate change, to be part of this network so that the knowledge sharing is there, and that we would be requesting the SDMAs also to put a focal point so that the benefits can be utilized, and the state climate change cells as well. The day 2, we had 2 major events yesterday. One was on regional vulnerabilities, including mountain vulnerability, coastal and dryland regions, and other specific vulnerabilities related with social and technology issues. The second event was on health and well-being. So it will focus on public health dimensions of disaster management and health emergency preparedness. Today it was the 4th event, that was on industry and safety. And it has been participated by several industries. More than 45 industries participated. In total, more than 100 partners, 100 organizations joined their representative. More than 100 organizations sent their representatives, and delegates were there from those organizations. And in 3 days time, we had 46 sessions. Across 46 sessions, we had more than 250 speakers, sir. And in total, more than 450 delegates participated in this unique mega forum on science, policy, practice interface. And that was possible only because of the cooperation, collaboration and support we received from a wide range of institutions within the country and across the country, outside the country. Professor Andre has traveled very short notice. In fact, the entire program has been put in very short notice. Even the panel that we seen in the morning on industry, in fact, the people join in a short notice of 3 days. So we are really feeling blessed. The entire organizing team feels blessed that people have extended their support. Professor Mariana, she traveled from Australia. She is director of Center for Humanitarian Leadership. She is not keeping well, so she could not join this session. She is here in the premises, but she had to take some medicine, and doctor asked her to take little rest. This summit also led to the various dialogues, not only on research, policy and practice, but also on cooperation. Many discussions between various institutions regarding taking up major projects, major joint research and ground actions have also taken up. In some of those discussions, we could also take the benefit and see that how this campus, which is located in Noida, can leverage its facilities, expertise, and also get the benefit of these cooperation. We have already almost finalized some programs on resilience and humanitarian leadership jointly with Deakin University, Australia. We have signed an LOA few months back, and that is focus on addressing leadership related challenges, because many times what happens that the resources are there, technologies are there, even sometimes the willingness is also there, but there are gaps when we find that to what level we really want to achieve the success. So our officials, what kind of governance issues, what kind of management related skills, what kind of project formulation skills, those also we can discuss upon. Then we are working collaborative programs with ABCD Dresden also, and with many other partners. UNU Chris was a part of this initiative, sir. UNU Chris has already finalized an MOU with us, and next week we are signing an MOU with them, and they are in process of setting ICARS as a UNU hub. So, and that will be in a process that in future we will also have an opportunity to convert this, or maybe on parallel some kind of a UN facility in this campus. Sirs, we have also been graced by the partnership of UNDRR, Director of UNDRR Training Institute at Getty at Incheon. Director addressed the gathering, and they immediately wrote us for a follow-up meeting regarding the joint training programs. So we'll be looking forward to start working with them, learn from the experiences outside the country, and also be able to share our experiences and expertise to other nations as well. These are only the few things at the moment which I am recalling and mentioning for your kind information and kind update. There were several other initiatives where the opportunities are emerging. IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, they want to take up initiative on promoting nature-based solutions, more particularly in the Himalayan areas and also in some of the coastal areas. That has also been a discussion. So that has REST Summit yielded several other such kind of ideas, programs and collaborations, where maybe there are other discussions where we are not a part, but certainly it is going to help improve and enhance the capacity of the country, because it is not necessary that only one institution does everything. Disaster risk reduction is a collective goal and has to be achieved collectively. We are always ready to partner and support and collaborate. Sir, this effort is planned and designed by a team of young members, including the students. And I would say that the final structure came out just last 15 days or so. And there were some challenges also. Learned experts, they could not get correct information in correct time. They have been asking, there were delays. Maybe some challenges related with the facilities or logistics also might have been faced. For that also, on behalf of the organizing team, I would tender the apologies and would seek your suggestions, recommendations and feedbacks very openly, in person or in the forum, as you feel fit. Because it is a process and we are in the process of learning and improving. This was a very short notice initiative, but next initiatives will certainly plan much in advance and will try to improve with all your support and guidance. With this, I once again thank you for gracing this occasion and would request our media partner, Samvad, their representative, Ms. Soumya, to please take the proceeding forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we proceed, let's quickly revisit our memories for past 3 days with a short video prepared by the organizing team. Could we please play the video? For all those who have missed out the past 2 days, there is this. I believe this is the other video. Please stop the video. And there is prone to be a technical glitch. Yeah, this was also a nice one. We will try to play without the glitch now. Thank you. That will be all. Everyone, please give a big round of applause. It seems to be nostalgic, right, Anil sir? So we'll proceed. I would like to invite Dr. Anshu Sharma from SEEDS to please provide his remarks.
Thank you, Soumya ji, and great thanks to Professor Anil Gupta and the team here for creating this beautiful space for the last 3 days. As he said, there were about 250 speakers. It was virtually impossible to hear everyone, and there were parallel sessions. So I think it was very nicely curated, where you had to miss something, and you always stayed hungry for more. Of the 3 days and the few conversations I could hear in the sessions, as well as a lot of conversations in the corridors, two things have stayed with me, which I'll just place here, as a closing day set of thoughts. I heard a lot of things that were things that we know, and then there were things that we don't know. And this included things that we don't even know that we don't know, right? So of the things that we know, I guess the starkest example that stays is the work on response. We saw amazing demonstrations and could speak to able officers from and actors from the NDRF, SDRF, and others involved in the response part of the disaster cycle. And despite having, I think we can take pride in having amongst the best protocols, amongst the best abilities to respond, and yet there is a slip when it comes to doing this across levels, across stakeholders, across communities. And so what gaps are there between the knowledge and the practice of things that we know? And where do attitudes and where do creating this kind of bridges between multiple stakeholders can bring value was a very important part of the conversations that we had over these last 2 days. I think within that, what was also nice, as opposed to many scientific conferences that I have attended, is that it was a really healthy mix of practitioners, students, researchers, scientific scholars, and policy people. So we could really have conversations in a language that everybody understood. And when we take it out, and I know we'll have amazing proceedings, then people outside will also really be able to absorb and understand. So the practice focus was really inspiring. On the other end, there were many more conversations about things that we don't fully know or understand yet. And to give you an example, yesterday in this hall, we were having a session with Niti Aayog and GIZ. And we were speaking about this initiative that ICARS is leading on a climate vulnerability atlas of the state of Uttarakhand. Right? And in one of the initial meetings, and we spoke about this yesterday. Yeah, we're privileged to be. So when we started these conversations, a high-ranking scientist from the state said, okay, atlases we know, there will be GIS maps, there will be layers. He said, I want to bring one little thing to your notice, which is the increase in bear attacks in many of our mid-range hills. So we also thought human-animal conflict is something that we have spoken about. But there have been issues around, and especially in Uttarakhand, about wild elephants, snake bites and all, but he deliberately focused on the bear attacks, and I went back and I actually looked up, and there are various reports and videos that can be found on that. Bears are not only attacking humans very viciously in the last few years in much increasing numbers, they're also attacking assets and destroying property. And he said, and this stays with me, this is a senior scientist saying that I don't have data, but I have a feeling that the increase in temperature is disrupting the bear's natural behavior to hibernate in the winters. And if the bear will not be able to hibernate, there will be problems, right? And we were in that room, and our first thought was, okay, how do we get the bears on our atlas, right? Because these are anecdotes. And then when we thought we could figure out that there can be a lot that can happen. And for me, therefore, the most enriching parts were figuring out where attitudes need to shift and what we can do that across stakeholders. Where do we find vulnerabilities that are very nuanced vulnerabilities, and how do we start bringing them into our models? So this session was around data and models, and we were talking about things that don't fit our model. We have very conventional model. We know how this will work, hazard, vulnerability, exposure. And there are still things that we hear in communities that don't fit our model. So how do we make them fit? We spoke about AI, we spoke about traditional wisdom, and I guess I look forward to the proceedings, sir, and I'm sure there will be a lot more. I think RESSUMMIT triggers a conversation that should grow and that should spread over the next 2 years till we convene again. But thank you again so much to you and all the participants.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for those insightful reflections. I would like to request our dignitaries to please come forward for the release of Book of Abstracts of RESSUMMIT. Anil sir, if you can help us.
It's an online.
Okay. Even I was not aware. Apologies. Everybody. Congratulations. Moving ahead with the agenda, I would like to request Chairperson Expert Committee NMKSCC Professor Kalachand Sain to please give his remarks. Although I hate to say, but I would request if it could be confined in few minutes.
Okay. Good evening to all the esteemed guests on the dais and off the dais. I must congratulate and thank Professor Anil Gupta ji for bringing out experts from different areas related to the climate change. We tried to understand the processes involved into the climate change, which is really very complex process, and its consequences to different kinds of geological disasters or industrial disasters or many other disasters, disruption in various domains, energy, water, health, agriculture, biodiversity. And from there, if we look into the topic sustainability and resilience, how we'll be able to achieve that? Different institute, different programs supported by ministries are going on. But till the process is so complex, the climate science, technology, innovation interface, the agricultural practice, the infrastructure resilient, we have not done up to the mark because of not our knowledge, because there is little bit, I will say, our communication gap exists. So how we'll fill that communication gap? How we'll bring different institute at one platform, that integration, whether it is national level, international level, and the proper execution. In the afternoon, we have also heard that SOP is very, very important. At right time, right action, if we are not able to take, we have to face the consequence. So for that, how much we are prepared? So there also small question rests. So in the national mission for the climate change knowledge within the country, in the Himalayan region, in the coastal region, in the plain region, different parts of the country, the population density is different, landscape is different. That's why this impact of the process is also complex. So unless we understand all this in a comprehensive manner, we will not be able to make a disaster resilient or climate adaptable future. So for that, we have to have some data. Data has to be stored at one place. Again, I congratulate Professor Gupta for making the address, the nerve center where you can get climate resilient data for the policy decision makers, for the researchers to get access immediately and understand what is going on in our country and what are the steps to be taken further so that we will be able to make the Viksit Bharat we are trying to make at 2047. There are several goals, and if we can achieve all these goals, definitely we'll be able to make that. That's why this integration and that collaboration is very much required. So I'll not spend much time on that. I have spoken at different sessions in different ways. So just my suggestions will be that after going back, we have got plethora of knowledge. Let us try to understand how the knowledge can be translated into some actionable plan, executable product and process that will help build the resilience and sustainability. Thank you so much for your listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Sain. I would now request special remarks by our very lovely Professor Andre, the Managing Director, ABCD Center, Technical University of Dresden, Germany. Please give your remarks, sir. Everybody, please welcome him.
Thank you so much. Yeah, as a biologist by education, I have to come back to the bear story first. Not with bears, though, because we have no bears anymore in Germany. We got rid of them, unfortunately, quite some time ago, which is a pity. But we have some reintroduction of the wolf in some regions in Germany, not least like conservation issues, back to our natural history, but also to control the deer, who are harmful to the even more vulnerable forests due to the changing climate. So good idea, bring the natural predator back. But then you have people there who are afraid of the wolf because they never knew the wolf. And although there are no real incidents, the fear that it could happen, that they could kill a sheep, already creates a lot of conflict. You might say, why? Why are people so fearful? And then you see this is an area of transformation. So open pit lignite mining was there and is now phased out. So there is already a lot of stress, also economic stress on the population. And just another thing which might be harmful can lead to escalation there. And this is a thing, I come back to what you said, it's complex. Things will be happening which we have not planned for, and we have to be prepared as good as we can for the things we have not planned for, and also to keep that in mind. So this as a short feedback to the bear story. Thank you for allowing this. Yeah, it's the last day, the last session. Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, partners, friends. As we come to the close of the summit, let me begin again by express my warmest thanks to Professor Gupta, ICARS, and his team for organizing this. And it's really have been a privilege for TU Dresden and the ABCD Center to be part of this important gathering. Over these past days, we have discussed resilience, sustainability, disaster risk reduction, and so on. But I would focus on one central question: who will carry this forward? Then, because in the end, the future will not be shaped only by strategies, frameworks, or technologies. As also mentioned in the very beginning, it will be shaped by people. And by the leaders we prepare today, by the institutions we build, and by the values we choose to embed them. And that, in my view, is one of the great responsibilities also of higher education institutions today. That universities can no longer see themselves merely as places of disciplinary training or credentialing. They must become places where a new kind of leadership is cultivated. Leadership that combines technical competence with ethical imagination, systems thinking with humility, global fluency, and with local responsibility. The sustainability leader of the future will need more than expertise. They will need the ability to navigate ambiguity. They will need genuine interdisciplinarity, not by any means as a delusion of expertise, but as the ability to work seriously across paradigms, sectors, and cultures. They'll need ethical imagination, the ability to ask not only what is possible, but also what is just. And they will need intergenerational thinking, the discipline to act with future communities and ecosystems in mind. These are not secondary skills. They are central capacities for leadership in a century defined, again, by complexity. At TU Dresden, we see this as part of our institutional mission. I said this also in the opening session. The TUD named itself as the collaborative university, inventive, transformative, and engaged. TUD uses this motto to express exactly the kind of role universities should play today. Not isolated, but connected, not passive, but active, not confined to knowledge production alone, but engaged in shaping society. And I mentioned this open pit mining area, which is now in transformation. What will it transform into? So the open pits are flooded now, become big lakes, and are quite successful in tourism development as a source of income in the region. And also the university, with government support, is investing there. So big research centers are placed by design in this region. So there will be the Smart Mobility Lab, a big research center on networked and automated mobility from driving vehicles up to flying drones. There will be Econ, circular economy, a big research center built up from start with business partners to work on a better circular economy. And we hope that this will, of course, not solve every transformational problems, but it will contribute to a solution in the region. And because also of something which happened yesterday, because I got to know Dr. Ahmad from the National Green Tribunal, and I learned, I didn't know that before, that he is an alumnus of TU Dresden. At the end of the 1988-87, he was there in a postgraduate further educational program, which is still running today. This is called the Center for International Postgraduate Studies on Environmental Management, and it's a long-standing institution within TU Dresden's Faculty of Environmental Sciences, and it implements international postgraduate training program and is specifically designed for environmental professionals from all over the world. Its purpose, pretty clear: strengthen capacities in sustainable environment governance and resource management. And this deeply also resonates with this summit. Because as I mentioned before, if you ask how future resilience leadership is actually built, the answer is through institutions that invest in people over time. So over project phases longer than them. And SIPSEM does exactly that. Each year it offers courses across a broad spectrum of environmental management topics and current global challenges. In other words, it does not only discuss sustainability, it equips professionals to lead in practice. Today there are more than 3,000 alumni from more than 150 countries. Also from India, also in this room, although Dr. Ahmed left us yesterday, There is one working at iCars. There were colleagues from GIZ who were in this program, and also from Wetlands International who were here the first day. Were all alumni coming together here, and they've all been in Dresden to this program. So this shows that creating an enduring network can really foster collaboration, which goes then far beyond when the people leave Dresden again. And what I find especially powerful is that it embodies a model of higher education that is collaborative, international, and practice-oriented, and this is a major achievement over time. Because the most valuable international partnerships are not transactional. They are relational, iterative, and long-term. They build capacities together, they create trust, and they allow people not only to learn about sustainability, but to exercise leadership through sustainability practice. I want to stress one final point. A sustainable future cannot be built without justice, inclusion, and representation. Leadership for sustainability must ask who is included, who is excluded, and whose future is being shaped by today's decisions. Resilience without equity will not endure. Innovation without participation will not be trusted. And education without responsibility will not be enough. So as we close this summit today, I would leave 3 thoughts. First, the future of resilience depends on the leaders we cultivate today. Second, from a university perspective, universities must move beyond knowledge transfer toward character formation, co-creation, and societal responsibility. And last not least, third one, international cooperation must not remain symbolic. It must become a lived practice of shared learning, shared institution building. For that reason, I leave this summit with gratitude, but also with confidence. Confidence in India's leadership, confidence in the strength of international cooperation, and confidence in the work of all the partners, friends, and colleagues gathered here. And confidence that together we can prepare the people who will shape a most, hopefully just, resilient, and sustainable future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Your words not only summarize the essence of summit, but also set the direction of the journey ahead. May I now request Vice Chair Sikkim SDMA, Professor VK Sharma, to please provide his remarks.
Thank you, Soumya. Honorable Vice Chairman, Uttar Pradesh State Disaster Management Authority, General Dimri sir, Professor Andre, Professor Kalachand Sain, a very eminent scientist of this country, my learned colleague, Professor Anil Gupta ji, Dr. Anshu Sharma, and friends. I think I'm here in the conference on all 3 days, and as the summary is given and you have seen the 6-7 minutes film, I think you might have realized that 46 sessions and presence of this many dignitaries. In fact, in 7 minutes you couldn't see entire thing. It was much more than that. I really enjoyed, right from the first day, and the type of sessions, the amount of, in fact, in case we summarize that part, it is not possible. You have a booklet in which abstracts are given, and these abstracts are from the researchers only. But there are many people, as Anshuji was saying, that it was a very good mix of practitioners, scientists, students. In case we can have the glimpse of their views and what they have spoken in 3 days, that will be an enormous learning. Friends, India is leader actually in disaster risk reduction and climate resilience. And I am feeling proud that in Asian countries, because I worked in so many Asian countries, and I know that the amount of work, it may be science and technology, it may be in response side, it may be in climate, planning, financing, each and every aspect, I think we are doing a lot. At national level, if you see, we prepared action plan 20 years or 21 years back, and every state is, well equipped. Today, I think every state is having a state disaster management plan. Every district is having disaster management plan. Every state is having climate, action plan. Every district is having a climate action plan. And not only this, academic institutions, they are also contributing a lot. It's not only IITs, it is not only technical institution, but if you see, even I was in a college of Delhi University, and I was impressed that the way people are taking this subject. So I think this kind of conference, this give a forum. And I fully agree with Anshuji that it was a platform where each and every one, all stakeholders, were together. We discussed so many things. In 3 days were not enough actually. 46 sessions were not enough because such a vast subject. But I think I compliment and I really congratulate, Anil Gupta ji, that, and I know that it was organized on a very short notice. I was associated right from the day one, but I was very, I was thinking that how it will be done. And it is far off from Delhi. Delhi, you can organize anything, you can have 100 people, or 200 people. But I think 50 kilometers away from Delhi, and that too in a new campus of IIT. IIT is having a name. In case it is in main campus, again there will be thousands of students and researchers. But I think at this place you brought so many dignitaries, people, scientists, students, and that was remarkable. And really I enjoyed, all 3 days. Some of the sessions, they were very, very useful. Yesterday I was there in session of CDRI, and the report which they have prepared, 23, that was very sketchy and was not having that much information. But 25, they made a report which is world class and which is having so many information for researchers. And when we talk loss and damage, I think that is one document where you will get everything. It's mind-boggling, and the figures which they are giving, it's horrifying, because they are saying that 3% of the global economy, that much loss is there because of natural disasters and climate change. And so I think we should be, and that's why this kind of resilience should be the mantra for future. Friends, I was member of high-powered committee, and Anshuji was part of high-powered committee, and we worked for 2-3 years. We come out with a slogan that there should be a culture of preparedness in the country. You are seeing it today, with so many states. We have Dimri ji, who is sitting here, and UP, again, an example of, preparedness. Not only Uttar Pradesh or Sikkim, there are most of these states, this mantra is there, the culture of preparedness, culture of mitigation, culture of quick response. Now I am saying that this is the time when we should add one more thing, culture of resilience. And I think this resilience, this mantra can come from this conference. And this should be the main, because we want to achieve something. When we were working with the high-powered committee, we give a slogan, Safe India. So Safe India means, and which is there in the national plan, and every state is thinking that how we can save. So all these things were there, but I think you have given many new ideas, to the researchers. about the climate resilience and thinking about climate resilience, research areas in climate resilience, and so on and so forth. So I think there is this conference, to my mind, was very useful for civil society, for academic people like Professor Andre, who is sitting here from Germany. And I'm watching him, he is taking so much interest, all 3 days he was there in one or the other session and contributing. So for academic people, for practitioners, it was for everybody actually. So I really enjoyed it, and I will say that nobody can summarize, what has happened, but it was very good. It is a very good beginning. Please continue it, because this is, though it is not easy thing, it needs resources, it needs manpower, and your center is so new, but you have shown that this small group is having capacity to do big things. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much, sir, for those encouraging words. Thank you so much. Now, may I request our guest of honor, General Yogendra Dimri ji, Vice Chairman UP SDMA, to kindly share his thoughts. Welcome, sir.
I'm going to use your dais.
Yes, sure. Please.
Congratulations, everybody. 3 days, 46 sessions, 250 speakers. You rustled up in 15 days. If that's not what disaster management is all about, then what is? So well. Congratulations, because you've reached prime time. On every phase, I see fatigue, I see exhaustion, but deep beneath, there's conviction, and there's a passion which carries you all forward. My compliments. To my dignitaries on the dais and rest of all the attendees, a very good evening. You called the state has come. Endure the state. Yeah, I take about 10-12 minutes, but let me tell you, it's quite a privilege to be here amongst all of you, and a gathering whenever I come here, which is always so impressive, it gets everybody together, and we've spoken of them all, from the academia to the practitioners, to the research bodies, to the industry, to the everybody that you can think of, they're all here. That's what makes it very impressive. So to start with, ICARS, my compliments to you. IIT Roorkee, my compliments to you. Yes, over the past 3 days, this has been a very, very vibrant platform for dialogue, reflection, and exchange of ideas on how societies can better prepare for, can adapt, absorb the impact, and respond to the consequences of disasters and climate change. Yes, your conversations and insights, and I was privy to some of those in the morning sessions which I attended, well, they enforce a very, very vital message. Resilience must remain at the heart of every developmental planning in the 21st century. No longer are disasters isolated or occasional. They become increasingly complex, interconnected, often intensified by climate change, urbanization, and environmental degradation. So therefore, and as Professor Sharma very well brought out, it calls for a reality check. The need to get to resilience, to move from such good preparedness and response to resilience, which should be at the heart of everything. I think this summit has brought this out very clearly, very convincingly. We are, as you all know, India, a global leader in climate change adaptation initiatives and disaster risk resilience. And this has been on account of the notable progress that the country has made through its strengthened institutional frameworks, progressive policies, and sustained investments in capacity building. That's at the center. At the state level, And that's where I feel so good seeing Bihar and Odisha and Sikkim and us from Uttar Pradesh being here, is the state authorities that play a critical role in translating these national priorities into actions on ground, practical actions on ground. And therefore, why I said brace yourself for these little moments, I must share some of the experiences of Uttar Pradesh with you. I'm sure they will add or give some valuable insights somewhere. We represent the nation, Uttar Pradesh, not just in size, not just in population, but in the multitude of disaster risks that we face. Vast areas are vulnerable to recurrent floods. Along the Ganga basin, it's 8 sub-basins. Every year, huge numbers are affected every year. Some of our districts face challenges of heat waves, lightning, snake bites, urban floods, a little drought also. And yes, somebody spoke of human-wildlife conflict. So why shouldn't I step back from a bear story? You all recall about 4 years ago when the Rishi Ganga came down and took away the whole NTPC project at Tapovan and washed away everything below. 220 bodies are still stuck in that tunnel, can't be retrieved. But then this is a bear story. Somewhere in the later part, 2-3 months later, when the corn had come up, I come from that particular village, by the way. So this bear started attacking the people in the village. So we said, what's wrong? It used to be restricted to the higher reaches, to the forest. Why is this one coming down to the village, which it really would? They would come for the corn, then after a few days we sighted there were 2 or 3 cubs along with the mother. But we couldn't do anything. That bear was too smart with the kids around. And the forest people came, they tried to tranquilize, they missed, and nobody could get after that bear. Till a few days later, one of the locals who used to come with the wood from that place came up and said, "Oh, hamara bridge toot gaya hai, ab hum kaise aaye?" He had his own problems of getting wood across. And sure enough, we saw there was a ropeway bridge through which these people used to cross that had been blown away by the flash flood which came. And then it struck the people that, look, this bear is not our bear from this side. This is the one from across the hill. And because this one had crossed this side and the rope bridge went, that poor bear and the cubs couldn't go back. And it was stuck. And that is why, with whatever it found around the village, it was creating that little conflict. So natural disasters don't just impact us, they impact animals as well. What we were thinking was a human-wildlife conflict was something else. Well, I leave it at that. So beyond these disasters that I spoke about, our northern districts, they lie in seismic zone 6, and along with some other districts, they're vulnerable or prone to seismic risks. And of course, when they come, they have those cascading effects of chemical hazards, fires, etc. Compounding all this is the high population density, our urban areas, socioeconomic factors, and all of this increases the exposure of our communities to disaster risks. So why I said the state has come, what is the state doing about all this? And that's something I want you all to be privy with. One of our priorities has been the improvement in our early warning systems, making the presence granular and our prediction hyperlocal. Maybe we should talk about this, it's happening. We encourage the use of technology-enabled early warning systems for disaster management. And just to tell you, from what used to be about 100 or 150 AWS ARGs in the state, today we have 2,500. So it dots the entire landscape, and that entire data is being fed into the IMD models, and the prediction which is being, forecasting which is being churned out is that much more better. Doppler weather radars, for what was one for the whole state of UP, there are another 5 which have come up. We know what way our prediction, be it for thunderstorm, lightning, rain, are going to come up. Multi-disaster response vehicles for response. A packaged vehicle, 62 kinds of equipment, any kind of cutting tools, part cutting tools which you want, or whatever kind you can talk of. 6 types of suits, right from your PPE to smoke mask, smoke clothing, to gas protective clothing, firefighting clothing, CBRN clothing. It's packed in there, so your responses are that much more confident, that much better. And now we have our lightning sensors, body-worn cameras, thermal cameras, and incident command posts which are on the way. And as I speak, what is also coming up is our state-of-the-art emergency operations center, going to be linked with our district emergency operations center, and with those incident command posts in the tehsils. I'm going to invite all of you to come to us a year from now. Data management and integration, digital monitoring tools and coordination platforms, these are all being put in place to strengthen the situation awareness and provide a common operating picture for decision making during emergencies. And accompanying all these initiatives is the building of responsibility frameworks. Disaster management plans. Yes, sir, they were there. But they were not the kind what we are looking at. Disaster management plans for each of our departments. And ICAR is also involved with one of them, for the agriculture one, which is going to be the first in the country. For each of our districts. For each of our UDMAs. The UDMAs have not come, but our plans are going to come before that. Plans which are based primarily on the HVRCA, duly backed by empirical evidence, because there's so much data available to us from so many years of a variety of kinds. And all this to arrive at very clearly defined, identified responsibilities for various people, and arrive at short, mid-term and long-term goals which have been prioritized as to what we're going to do. The targets for our departments and districts is this year end, and the urban centers start off immediately thereafter, towards the end of the year. Awareness campaigns. Now, we spoke so much about community. Awareness campaigns play an important role to reduce the impact of hazards. The emphasis on our community-based disaster preparedness to build resilient communities. We have our CBDRM programs. They are running into their 4th year. A staggering 20,000 Abdamitra. 20,000 Abdamitra have been trained and empowered across the entire state. And as I speak, another 30,000 another 30,000 are being trained this year and next. And there is more in the pipeline to follow. That's the kind of outreach. School safety is another area of our focus, which is again into its 4th year now. It makes our young people and education institutions better prepared to deal with emergencies. Symposiums, tabletop exercises, and mock exercises. No longer at the state level, no longer at the district level. We address it at the tehsil level. We monitor at the state, but it's executed at the tehsil level, where the SDM and his fire station officer and his police officer take charge. And then you tick them off. Where's your whistle? Where's your rope? Where's your community? What were we talking about? And thrice a year we do that. Once for 44 districts impacted by floods. Second time, another 34 different districts which are more impacted by either earthquakes, fires, or chemical hazards. And the third time we do it for another 24 districts on the other side who are impacted by cold waves. In UP we have a huge number of fairs, you'll be amazed. We carry out tabletop exercises for our crowds and fairs and crowd management. That's the area we address. Internship programs, we run those too, and research studies, not just the IITs like somebody said, but to each of our universities. We are sponsoring them for all our state universities, and this is what helps us generate capacity across the spectrum. Gender inclusion, now that's been another area of strength. Started with the initiative 3 years ago to involve the women leadership in our awareness generation programs through the self-help groups. We've worked downward from the Mandal to the Janpad to now the Tehsil level. I must tell you, last year, 2,000 of our women, and that's 500 teams of 4 women each, they went down to 2,500 villages and over 5,000 hamlets. And these were in our 118 highly sensitive flood-prone tehsils. To each of these villages, generating DRR awareness. And in the process, nearly 18 to 30,000 rupees in each of their accounts as DBT. Nobody in between. We also realized the priority to be accorded to urban disaster risk management, because the rapid growth of our cities and industry demands that we address our urban flooding, our urban heat islands, infra resilience, and emergency preparedness against fires, chemical accidents, and even slow onsets like pollution. Aware of this, we take this on. So our initiatives, in whatsoever little measure they be, they demonstrate how state institutions play a transformative role in building resilience. And of course, let me admit, very frankly, this needs to be supported by a strong leadership. It starts with our Honorable Chief Minister. It needs to be supported with partnerships. It needs to be supported by community participation. Industry too has a very big role in developing innovative technologies, resilient infra, and sustainable business practices. Academic institutions contribute through research, evidence-based policy insights, and like Mr. Dresden said, preparation of future leaders, because I think that's where answers lie. So, as I've been told over these 3 days, the REST Summit has taken up some of these very contemporary issues at the various plenaries, and they initiated insightful dialogues and discussions on a variety of thematics. The strength of our DRR, climate change adaptation and sustainability, lies in the rich exchange of ideas that you've had over here amongst all stakeholders of all kinds. And that's been brought together by this summit alone to create these opportunities for meaningful partnerships. What has come out in common amongst every plenary and dialogue at this summit is a repeated emphasis that disaster resilience, climate resilience, and sustainability cannot be achieved by governments alone. It has to be of necessity a whole of nation approach, a fusion of efforts of the state, the industry, the academia, the civil society, humanitarian agencies, and the community. Lastly, as a man who's long been in uniform, I also cannot but remind you of the correlationship between conflict and disaster and its impact on climate change. As was also brought out some time ago, while all of you have been glued to your TV screens today for the 19th day, and you've been watching the Middle East burn, remember, at the end of it all, it does not matter who's right, who's wrong. It doesn't matter who wins, who loses. The moot fact is that the conflict is driving a multifaceted, catastrophic scenario characterized by an escalating human crisis, global economic shocks, and a long-term environmental degradation. This fighting has triggered mass displacement, damaged critical infra, and created significant food and energy security risks. And so therefore, do spare a thought for humanity, which is not just suffering, but will continue to suffer, both inside and outside the conflict zone. And I say outside, you just see the food yields go down across the globe. And this will happen for a long time to come. And therefore, do reflect on what disaster managers and climate change specialists should do once this conflict abates. So as we conclude, I would like to encourage all the participants here to carry forward the insights and collaborations that have emerged here. As a disaster management practitioner, I hold that the true success of this summit does not lie in the discussions and the dialogues that you've had, but it lies in the partnerships that you've fostered and the actions that you will follow up with on ground. Let us work together to ensure that our communities, cities, and institutions are better prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. Only our collective commitment, innovation, and shared responsibilities can help us build societies that are safer, more resilient, and better sustainable. Congratulations to all of you once again, organizers and participants, for making REST Summit 2026 a most meaningful and a most impactful event. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for the motivation and encouraging words. As this REST Summit has demonstrated what becomes possible when researchers, delegates, institutions, industries come together on a single platform with a shared vision of resilience and sustainability. And by that, we are about to conclude the session. I would like to invite Professor Anil Gupta to please extend vote of thanks.
A single vote of thanks is not enough. Just a drop in the ocean. This success of this summit owes to a large and diverse number of factors, entities, organizations, people, efforts, contributions, and to the state. That's very important. And the encouraging words and the line of guidance from Dimri sir and from Professor Vinod Sharma sir, that has been really very meaningful, very enlightening for us. And while we are saying that it is a concluding session, but in fact, and as you said sir, it is a journey. So it is giving a beginning to many new things, and we have to continuously strive, continuously work. So thank you so much for gracing this occasion. Thank you so much for traveling from Lucknow, despite of your busy schedule, and you spent the day for us, and you graced this occasion. We are really thankful to you, sir. So let us have a round of applause for General Dimri and all the dignitaries. Dr. Andre traveled from Germany. Very short notice. In fact, that was a great surprising happiness. In the morning, Dr. Andre told that I am exploring, but usually people, anyone you invite, they say this thing, I am exploring. But by the evening, his message, when I saw that I have booked my tickets and hotel as well, that was a great joy. Immediately I called Richa and told that your teacher is coming. And that was really, and that was also a moment we decided that we will not step back. Anshu ji, we recall our discussions that we were thinking that what should we postpone it because of certain challenges that we had, and then new geopolitical scenario. That time it was already developing. So in these scenarios, Dr. Mariana, she had rescheduled her travel. She was scheduled to travel in the month of May. She had preponed her visit for the summit. So these kind of supports we received from across. Very short notice, sir. 3 days back, we telephoned the Shri Kamal Lochan Mishra ji, Orissa State Disaster Management Authority, and we did not get any response. He told, Anil ji, I am so much interested, but let me see, because nowadays Chief Minister is taking meetings every day, and he is likely to superannuate also this by end of this month. And Sushmita Behra Madam was here, the new Executive Director. So the kind of support we got across the ministries, Niti Ayog, very rarely we find Niti Ayog cooperation, NDMA. We could get all such leadership. We could get many other nations to join, UK government and many other partners they supported. ADPC, very short notice, their executive director telephoned me and then told that would you be able to accommodate us? We told that you are more than welcome. Dr. Mona was here. So we could get all such kind of support in very short notice. And people, even from judiciary, yesterday the Honorable member of National Green Tribunal was here. He said that it is very rare for them that they get permission to participate in such kind of forum when they are in position. Before that and after their tenure they can do. But he was here and he did not only spoke in the session, he spent after the session more than 1 hour with us in our center, and we had lot of other discussions besides, and his madam was also here and she narrated beautiful ghazal, and that so that was also wonderful. So we could mobilize support, we could mobilize the media partnership also we got, Samvad Connect, so we are thankful to them also. UCOST, since the IIT Roorkee is in Uttarakhand, earlier Uttar Pradesh, sir. So, so it was, and this campus is in Uttar Pradesh. We could get support from all the institutions, and that is the beauty of this. And I would extend my sincere thanks to all the dignitaries who graced all the occasions, starting from day one to now. All the members of NDMA spoke in this forum, including secretary. The 2 senior officials from Ministry of Environment, they could travel despite of the parliament session going on. The senior advisor of Department of Science and Technology, she could travel and come here despite of the parliament session going on. This tells that the kind of support we got. Joint Secretary of Bihar government, he is very much here and he has been participating. And I would also extend my sincere thanks to all the partners who collaborated, particularly in terms of resources, the FCDO, Government of UK and UNDP. They came up as a major resource support for us. ZIZ, Government of Germany, HCL Foundation, C-STEP, and many others, GB Pant Institute, and small, so it was like a collective effort. SEEDS and Gorakhpur Environmental Action Group were with us since beginning. Professor Sharma had been guiding. We have been discussing the challenges also, and he was telling, don't worry, we will find out something will happen. And so something happened. And now we can say that we have been successful. And very interestingly, I would thank to each and everyone who supported to this success. Very interestingly, when we started preparing, people started approaching that can we have a session? Can we get a slot? Then 3 days before, we were in a trouble that how to accommodate. We would not be having that time and how to adjust, because we have this program here, and then first floor we have the other sessions. Then we curated the innovative idea Parisamvad, and Parisamvad everyone is loving so much that I think who was asking, someone saying that that person looked at this, said, what is this? Then someone, our media partners, they explained that this is Parisamvad. The 4 persons are discussing a very specific topic, where large people are not actually really interested, but that is a very specific, particular issue, and then it is going live, and globally it is people can see and watch globally. So it was going live. I think 7 or 8 Parisamvad sessions were there. Initially, we had planned for 4. Then request came, we wanted to add 1, UNICEF added 1, then one more added. So finally 7 Parisamvad sessions were there. So thank you so much, sir, for gracing. Thank you, all of you, for your all support. And I think before that something is there from Dr. Rohit. But let me thank everyone from the team which contributed, and all young team, including volunteers, sir. Some people volunteered, and past 3-4 weeks they were working day and night with us. So thank you to all of them. And thank you to NDRF and SDRF, they put their exhibition. Many other institutions, they put their exhibition. तेज से बोलो, मुझे सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. DG Fastly, very important, sir. DG Fastly, National Authority for Chemical Weapons Convention, and many more. I may certainly miss out. So, yeah, I may certainly miss out some. So, thanks to all of them. Yeah, I think there is a video, short video, before we close the ceremony.
That was wonderful. Congratulations, and we are coming back. 2028 Yes Summit. Heartiest congratulations to the team members, organizing committee, everyone standing here. And before we conclude, I would request Professor Anil to please present a memento of admiration to our guest. We all are thankful that you were here, sir. Thank you so much for joining with us. Professor Anshu Sharma, thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Professor Sain. Professor Andre, thank you so much. And as it is everybody is standing, I would request to stay standing for a few more minutes or rather seconds. I would request to play the national song before we conclude the session. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for being part of this incredible journey. We would look forward for continuing.
May I request the organizing team, all the organizing team, to please come on the dais. Sharma sir. Sir, we want a picture with the organizing team. Anshu ji, you are part of it. All the organizing team. Very quickly, all interns, volunteers of organizing team, please come here. Those who are smart enough, come here. Yes. बैठ सकते हैं नहीं नहीं इधर